Hey guys, welcome back. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And well, it would appear that somebody is watching our videos.
Or listening to fans in general.
Or listening to fans.
Aren't we arrogant?
Well, because Syfy is now going back and talking about how wonderful the original He-Man and She-Ra was in anticipation of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power
I think in the
Season 2.
He-Man movie coming out. But I love the title, A Thorough Oral History of He-Man. Oral He-Man.
Oral He-Man. I got that figure. You got me that one. Oral Adam.
There you go.
No,
That's right.
Laughing Prince Adam.
Oral history of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The game-changing 80s tune. Wait. Game-changing? I thought that these shows were campy. And they were anti-feminist, and they were basically there, to tell boys that, they're superior and girls, are just to be sluts. And it's just a bunch of men getting off on She-Ra. I thought that's what the narrative has been. That
has been the narrative from most of the media, and the thing is that Syfy. Now we did a live stream of their live stream, and we actually got more traffic.
Which is probably why they listened.
Which is probably why they listened. But their voice actor, Marcus Scribner, who does the voice of Bo, he threw the original voice cast of She-Ra under the bus during a live stream at New York Comic Con, said that they were very stiff and robotic, and basically he's better. And now here comes Syfy defending their honor for the honor of Grayskull.
Right, so they're going to defend the original shows now, guys. So the story behind He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, and She-Ra, Princess of Power is not unknown. They talk about the power of Grayskull, the toys that made us, and the book that Lou Scheimer did.
Creating the Filmation generation.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yep.
Okay, so this is you'll love this, guys. Hold on, you'll love this one. This is hardly a surprise, considering how influential the show and its characters were on Gen X. The generation with the strongest grip on the pop culture reigns right now.
Yeah, bitches.
No. What possible planet does this person think that Generation X has the strongest grip on the pop culture reigns right now? Because had we had the grip on the reins, we wouldn't be getting shows like Thundercats Roar.
No.
We wouldn't be getting shows like this new She-Ra Princesses of Power. We'd be getting shows that actually seemed like the shows from the 80s.
Yeah, and what they're doing is they're kissing Gen X ass so hard. So hard. They're backpedaling. They're absolutely backpedaling, because before it was all about how the new She-Ra was superior to anything Filmation put out, and now they're like, no, Gen X is the best, and let's do a really thorough interview with the fantastic, groundbreaking people who worked on those shows.
Yeah, the people that we called out were as groundbreaking. First of all, they keep saying about the toys, and they keep saying about, well, they're just made to sell toys. The original show sucked. It was just made to sell toys. That's the narrative. Even though much of the He-Man story focuses on the Mattel toys, the Filmation show was, in many respects, far more groundbreaking.
What? You mean everything that the fandom has been saying for months, they're repeating verbatim? Wow.
It broke the Saturday morning mold and showed the industry that an animated series could hold its own in a weekday time slot. And it also broke the prevailing business model as one of the first children's shows in the air to air in first-run syndication. Despite its reputation at the time, it was filled with pro-social
messages.
Social
justice.
What's that apart? You what? Say what now? It had pro-social messages?
What?
Wait, It's just a bunch of men who wanted to get off to a girl character who was anti-feminist, and is everything wrong with females in cartoons? Say what now?
What? Everything we have been saying for months, they're saying now. You know why they're saying it? Because
it didn't do well?
It didn't do as well as they thought it should, so now they're like, well, maybe attacking the original show and attacking fans of the original show isn't the way to go. So let's talk about, hey, Gen X, you guys are actually pretty cool.
Because you have the control of the pop culture reins. No, we don't.
Bullshit. If we did She-Ra and the Princesses,
we're not really Gen X, though, but whatever.
Power never would have been made in the first place.
Right.
Because we would have been, hell no, you're not doing that to She-Ra.
It would have been She-Ra, the Princess of Power, and it would have been an actual reboot of She-Ra and the Princess of Power.
And she'd wear lipstick, damn it.
That's right, because that's groundbreaking. She's not wearing lipstick. A strong female characters don't have to wear lipstick.
That's what makes a woman. That's what makes a woman.
Yeah, that's what makes a woman, which we did not know this until Noelle Stevenson did her video on drawing She was drawing the Best Friend Squad, also on a Syfy Wire video.
Also on Syfy,
we'll
yes.
discuss this in a minute why this matters. So anyway, the original series turned out to be a bit more proving ground for talent that would go on to create otherwise influential pieces of pop culture. The writing staff included Paul Dini, who did Batman.
Yeah, Paul Dini's awesome.
Michael,
really
J.
awesome.
Michael,
Straczynski.
I never say his name. Babylon 5.
JMS. You pronounce it JMS.
Call him JMS. Babylon 5. The music was composed by
Saban.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. Yeah.
And many of the minute comics were based on the show, and packaged the action figures were done by Larry Houston.
Person of color.
Yes, I was gonna say, and he's not white. So how
Just
about
saying.
that?
Just saying. You know, the show was pretty progressive for its time, and it's so funny that now, after the kind of the audience failure, I think, of at least the old school audience failure of She-Ra, now they're back.
Oh, it gets better. They're gonna kiss
Now
your
they're
butt.
back
They're gonna kiss your butt some more. You ready for this?
Okay. I want my butt kissed. I want it kissed.
Well, that's why
and
it's the oral history. Sorry.
kiss it and lick it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
We're being honest. The Filmation show is what turned Masters of the Universe into a worldwide phenomenon.
But it was just a show about toys,
And
like
it was
muscly,
they're
stinky men.
one-dimensional and they're campy.
Muscly, stinky
The toys
men.
gave birth to the characters, but the show cemented their place in pop culture history.
No shit.
It's because of the show that the characters made it to the big screen in '87 and were rebooted in 1990 and 2002, which 2002 was awesome. It's also because of the success of the show that She-Ra Princess of Power was allowed to grow from a spin-off into a phenomenon of its own, whose influence continues to reach 2019 with Dreamworks. She-Ra the Princess of Power, influenced loosely.
Footnote in this article.
Yeah. And well, yeah. And it's because the show is a much beloved part of many childhoods that we might still see on our feature film. Wait, it's a beloved part in people's childhoods? I mean, the people that you're saying it's for the children? It's not for you?
The people you attacked, including Melanie Britt, the voice actress of She-Ra in the 80s, who was so disgusted by the marketing machine behind the Netflix She-Ra show that she actually spoke out on Facebook.
Right. And she's in
and
this
said not
interview.
to believe these people.
She's in this interview, even.
Of course she is, because they have to get them back on their side.
So they sat down with the people bringing Attorney and a Theory to life for the Filmation series. They have Alan Oppenheimer, Melinda Britt,
Skeletor.
JMS, and Erica Scheimer and Michael Halperin. And they take a look at what they did for the show. We're not going to go through the whole article, but they talk about where it came from, about how Mattel came to them, and how they turned it into something with the TV show. They talked about the Mattel-Filmation relationship was thus established. In 1982, Mattel had a legitimate success with their Masters of the Universe toys. However, they were getting a lot of phone calls and letters from confused parents and kids who had bought the action figures. Aside from He-Man, it was unclear who the good guy and the bad guy was. So they talk about how they set up that with the He-Man show. There's one place I want to talk about down here. We'll put the article up so you guys can go and read it and read the interview.
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because I remember when I was a kid, like before the cartoon came out, it was very vague. Other than He-Man and Skeletor, you really didn't know who the good guys and bad guys were. Like even Zodak, he started out as a bad guy. Originally, he was a cosmic enforcer and he was a bad guy, but then when the show came out, they made him a good guy. So it was kind of like it's weird how that worked.
I'm trying to find the part on here where they talk about the one thing. They're talking about the recording sessions, and they're talking about how they came up with the ideas and where the Bible came from. The Bible for the story, of course. I better clarify that. We talk about how the Bible came up. Okay, now we're talking about the episodes. Remember, they always had the message at the end of the episodes. The ones, the part of the campiness of the 80s show. And I thought this was an interesting question. He-Man, later She-Ra, is notorious for these endings. And in 2019, it's far too easy to poke fun at them and find them corny and contrived. But they had power, and they literally changed and saved lives. And Scheimer talks about, I can't tell you the number of stories I've been told about kids who were close to suicide and then heard a moral that told them to find a friend if you're feeling down. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of gay young boys who are made whole by She-Ra.
What?
I know, right? I thought it was only straight men who, It's amazing how touched people were by these messages. Girls who were molested and finally talked to their parents because they saw the show that said, if someone touches you in a place you don't want to be touched, talk to your parents or teacher. It blew me away. There was a young autistic girl I met, and I forgot the exact moral now, but it gave her such strength she wanted to be like everyone else, and she knew that she could. Just amazing. A blind boy who listened to He-Man religiously and talked about what it meant to him. I can go on and on. Yes, this is what we were talking about for the past several months. These people are the ones who you kind of pooped on with the new show, and then you turned around and said that if you didn't like the new show, it was clearly because you were obviously a sexist misogynist.
The show meant so much to so many people, and fuck you, Vox. Fuck you hard with the freaking pointy stick without any lube. This is what pissed the fans. You don't get the oral history. This is what pissed us off so much about, because of how much this show and how much it meant to the fans and how much it meant to people, because of, it was very progressive for its time, and to be so dishonest that media outlets like Vox were constantly shitting on the show, shitting on the fans.
The little undertitle here, some men are mad she isn't sexier.
But you know what? Sexy She-Ra saved lives. She saved lives. So continue.
This one, the Oppenheimer first convention I did. 3 young men came up to me and told me a story about the moral: if you get separated from your parents, stay where you are and don't wander around. One of them told me that has absolutely happened to him. He was from Argentina and he was hiking with his family in the Amazon and he got separated from them. He started to walk around, but remember the moral, he stayed there and they found him 2 hours later. Well, that's a scary thing. They're talking about, about this different show, and I'm not going to read all that because it takes too long, but we'll put the link in the thing. But here's where it gets interesting. So we're like, okay, so Syfy, boy, they're putting up an awful lot of stuff about, She-Ra and He-Man. They're the ones that aired the thing at New York Comic Con where the voice actor threw the original voice actors of She-Ra under the bus.
Damage control.
Yes.
Damage control.
Yeah, we're like, why do they care? Why is Syfy working so hard to do damage control? Well, because when you look into Syfy, who's Syfy owned by? Good.
Syfy is owned by NBC Universal, which shouldn't surprise anyone. And also owned by NBC Universal is Dreamworks.
So look here, guys. Guess who owns Syfy? Guess why they have a vested interest in doing damage control and trying to do whatever they can do now in 2019? Syfy, who just happens to be owned by the same company as Dreamworks.
Yeah, I think the marketing if I had to speculate what happened, they did indeed watch not just our videos, but other people's videos, and even, Melody Britt coming out in defense of the fans, and they're like, oh shit, this was a huge miscalculation.
And they made sure they put Melody Britt in the article.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking about other people who actually were creators of the show and worked on the show, and she was one of the voice actors. They didn't really have a lot of other voice actors, but they made sure they put Melody Britt there because she's the one who was saying, hey, look, if you like what she was basically saying, what we are saying, you can like it, you cannot like it, but don't crap on people who don't like it, or don't tell fans they're less than because they don't like the new interpretation. And they put her in the article, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and the thing is that, because when the original She-Ra is telling you that you're full of shit, that's not a good look. And a lot of people didn't even tune into the first season of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power because they're like, fuck you people. Yeah. That you're doing this, that you're saying these things, because the show did mean a lot to people.
Crap, there's a lot of backlash. People are really mad. It didn't do as well as we thought it was going to do. What's possibly wrong here? Oh, quick, do damage control.
Never, ever attack the fans. Never make it the fans' fault. Why don't these companies learn this? Why don't they learn this?
Especially when you have a lot of older fans that all were like, you know what I mean? You could have just given people a show that was a modern adaptation that was very similar to the original. This new one just feels like a coat of She-Ra paint, is what it feels like.
It's not She-Ra.
It's not She-Ra. It's name only. The story is not She-Ra.
Even the legitimately good parts of the show, I mean, I can't say the show is complete garbage. It's not. There are some good parts to it, but because of the stink of the fans being attacked in this way, it actually pains me to watch it. I don't even want to watch it because I know all the drama associated with it.
Right. And I mean, as a woman, and I know a lot of people listen to this that are also women or minority groups who don't like the new She-Ra, basically, you're completely ignored in the narrative. It's it's all straight white guys who want to get off to She-Ra that hate it. That was the narrative. When people like me or you would speak, I mean, people out there that are minority groups would speak out, you were completely talked over. You don't matter because you don't fit into their mindset, their narrative they're trying to spin. So you're marginalized twice, which I've said many times, but it pisses me off. So anyway, the rabbit hole goes deeper. So we know now that Syfy is owned by NBC, who also owns DreamWorks. So, big surprise there is that's why Syfy is getting all these interviews.
Right.
There's a bunch of articles. They had interviews with Nolan Stevenson. They had interviews with all these creators of the He-Man. Even though I would have changed the name on that. The thorough
oral history of He-Man.
It's a thorough oral of He-Man, guys.
So if somebody Googles oral He-Man, this article
it's literally called A Thorough Oral History of He-Man. So it's thorough oral He-Man, guys.
He did laughing Prince Adam's face for the thumbnail.
Look, Skeletor's behind smiling. I'm just saying.
Hey, what's going on? Battle Cat's oral. He's ready.
He's like, no.
He's ready for action.
He looks kind of confused. He-Man looks kind of confused, like, what's going on? And Skeletor's back here. Ha ha ha. Yeah. So anyway, so we're like, okay, well, to be fair, Syfy, most of their articles were pretty much, they kept, other than the New York City Comic Con incident where they threw him under the bus completely on several other interviews, they've kind of tried to keep it newsy and direct. Okay, so we're like, okay, well, who are the people that were really going after the fans? Vox. This is where we come the fight over She-Ra. We talked about these articles before. They're talking about at this point in history of humanity, it's too naive to believe there are still things in the world largely upset people. The highly anticipated sequel of beloved film franchises, even when they're praised in critical reviews, spur toxic reaction from the deepest pockets of the internet.
Yeah, you can just skip down here where they put fans in quotes.
Yeah, She-Ra's new look has rubbed quote-unquote fans the wrong way. And they go on and bash people for not liking it, okay? And there is a reason we're bringing this up. And then we have The Verge, fan artists.
Subversive.
This is they're talking about the fan artists. Remember that article we said about the fan artists, about how they find the She-Ra art is subversive and uplifting? And then they interviewed the fan artists doing fan art of She-Ra, and none of them have watched the original show?
Oh, yeah. We did videos on that, too. Just check. We've done a lot of She-Ra videos, but none of these fan artists have watched She-Ra. So what is going on is...
Polygon.
Oh, Polygon, yeah.
Why She-Ra's showrunner made Catcher and Dora the focus of the reboot, and it's going on about, here we get the campy. He-Man's ties into campy designs for, I love this. She-Ra and the Princess of Power is a Netflix reboot of the popular 1980s Filmation series of the same name. It's not the same name. Similar name, Princess of Power. Helmed by Noel Stevenson, the reboot trades its He-Man ties and campy designs for a heroine who could stand on her own, and complicated villains with motivations beyond just taking over the world.
Yeah, and that's in stark contrast to all of the people whose lives were touched by the original He-Man and She-Ra show.
They're just campy designs, and they're just people because they're flat, one-dimensional characters. Unlike the original series, where the two filled with very linear good guy, bad guy roles, and Catcher and Dora, the new series, are childhood friends. So basically, the original series is flat and one-dimensional and campy, and the new series is just full of everything. It's full of lots of things, full of everything fantastic and wonderful. And like, okay, so why does this matter? Why does this matter? Because there's a reason Vox and Verge and Polygon, they were doing all these. Remember, they were getting the story. They were getting the story from the PR. We were like, oh, they're getting it from the PR spin. This PR spin is definitely, throwing the fans under the bus. They were like the notorious ones for it. Okay, get this, guys. So Vox Media owns all three of those. Yeah. And Vox Media is owned by NBC Universal, who also owns Syfy and Dreamworks.
Yeah. So what you're getting is basically all of these outlets are trying to market the show, but they're trying to pander to whichever audience they think.
Well, no, I think the original PR was the PR approach was to shit on the fans. Everywhere you went, that was the press releases. They all had the same buzzwords, the same tone to their articles. Even other major quote unquote pop culture outlets that were given the press materials all were saying the exact same things. You kept seeing the exact same themes over and over and over again because that was the PR they were spinning. And then Syfy kind of was crapping on it. They tried to stay newsy, more newsy, but they still were kind of like, about the old She-Ra. But then these places, Vox, Polygon, Verge, they were like flat out like going after the fans like repeatedly. They were like the usual suspects constantly, the ones making these digs. And we kept joking about, well, it's the friendly media and the PR. Well, it's more than friendly media. They're all owned by the same parent company.
We talked about the rabbit hole going deep before. I said in the previous video about Warner Brothers owning Legendary, who owns Nerdist. I did get that wrong. Actually, there is a distribution deal with Legendary, but all these companies are related. So what you're seeing is that these outlets, all of these outlets are being used to promote their products, and they pretty much just spin whichever angle they think their audience is going to bite on.
I don't even know if they spun it the angle their audience is going to bite. I think they're trying to backpedal now.
Oh, I know they're backpedaling, because what happened was, this failed spectacularly. I mean, they had a golden opportunity. If they were going to reach out to fans of the classic show, they could have gone to PowerCon. Instead, they hid the show until the very last possible moment. They went to these indie comic book conventions. They went to an LGBTQ comic book convention.
They went to the ones that would be receptive. They're friends. The friends they made the show for.
Right.
They went to see their friends.
Yeah, for Tumblr, by Tumblr. So don't, for a minute, do not think this is genuine. I don't think this is genuine. I think this is all about damage control, because the second season of She-Ra is coming out. The first season did not perform as well as they expected, other than Tumblr people. And I think this is all, and this might even be like a mandate from Mattel or something too. Like, you better freaking fix this.
Well, here's my thing too. You know, you said about they're listening to us at the beginning, and I was like, oh, that's being arrogant. But I you know what? We were the ones that were. Everybody was like, oh, they got more traffic than Syfy did at the same panel.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible. I'm sure it's not just us. There have been many videos about
well, my point is
She-Ra.
That they think that they might have taken that and started watching us and other people who are complaining about She-Ra online on the YouTube videos and seeing the amount of traffic that it's not just ours, other people's too are getting. And I think that they're like, oh crap. And then, you know, people, I don't think it performed as well as they thought it was going to.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
They even went so far as take He-Man and She-Ra off, which might not have been because of that. It could have been the deal was up, but it was very odd timing.
It's weird. It's almost like we will force, because I remember when new She-Ra came out, what was trending on Netflix was the classic She-Ra, not the new show.
Right.
So now it's almost like, well, maybe part of the reason it didn't perform well is we've got old She-Ra. So let's take old She-Ra off of there and take away their choice and force them to watch new She-Ra. I just don't think, there's no way to know Netflix's internal metrics, but I don't think it performed well. I
don't
really
know.
don't.
Yeah, they hide that.
They hide it.
So I just think it's interesting when you look at this. I think that the original was to send out these pop culture blogs. The PR marketing move was one, Noelle Stevenson on everything, even though it's odd that she would get more billing than the show would have been. I think it was to talk about how this is so inclusive and you know, all that, and everybody who hates it is just haters because there's something wrong with them. They're bad people, so don't listen to them. It's clearly because they're bad people. Syfy mostly tried to stay neutral, just give facts. However, they're the ones who were doing all these videos to promote it and everything else. And now they're backpedaling. Oh, it's He-Man and She-Ra are amazing. Let's get the original people on here to do an interview.
Yeah, talk about how progressive it is, how great Gen X is.
And they brought up about Erica Scheimer being homosexual, which everybody already knew.
Everybody knows that. So many people working on that show were completely out of the closet.
Yeah.
No,
it's
big
always
deal.
appealed to the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
That's something new. Everybody knows this. But it's appealed to many communities. So, but I love how it went from, it's not for you, it's for children. It's not for the people it meant something for. You don't need to grow up. It's just a TV show. I don't care if it meant something to you. It's just a TV show. And now it's, look at all these people it meant something to. It's so important because it means so much to so many. Well, that's a complete 180 from the PR crap you were spewing. And it's coming on Syfy. I bet you we're going to see a 180 on these other news networks when they get to them too.
Yeah, this is damage control. I don't for a minute believe this is genuine. I mean, it's good to see. This is what they should have done the first time around. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the damage has already been done. I don't think anybody is going to believe this horse shit.
That title, though. Why do they think that was
I know. It was almost like tongue-in-cheek. Now we're talking
history
oral.
of He-Man.
Oh, God.
It's like, what?
But I don't think anybody at this point is going to believe this now because it is such a 180 from attack the fans. Like, this is all a marketing ploy. I found it interesting, too. They made it, the title of it's He-Man. They're going to promote He-Man. They do talk about He-Man for most of it. But they also get those She-Ra things in there, She-Ra plugs in there, and they make sure they turn it into being about She-Ra later on. I just found it funny. I think what they're doing is they're trying to, because the brand is being damaged, I think, by the shenanigans regarding She-Ra's marketing. And again, it's not even the show itself. I mean, look, we have issues with the show.
Sorry.
I don't like it that much either. If it had been called something else, I think I would have given it a fairer shake.
I'm trying to think in my head. If it had been called something else, would I have given it a fair shake? No, because, I mean, I might have, but I find it hokey. I still would have found it hokey. The strong female, like we were saying the other day, we were watching Japanese anime, like, the Shield Hero or My Hero Academia, and they're talking basically about these characters that are these weaker characters that they have to earn their mantles. They aren't just given their mantles. Where She-Ra is just given a mantle and she's completely incompetent. Like She-Ra in the 80s had already been trained, so she had it by birth and by training, and she could inherit it, and she went with it. And now it's like, oh, look at this slapstick funniness, and she can't handle her sword and all that.
A trained soldier.
It was like she was owed it.
Trained soldier.
It was like she was owed it more than she earned it. And we were comparing it to those shows. And I think that's the core thing. I don't know if I would have liked it had it been something else.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of issues here. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to salvage He-Man because they do have a movie in the works, and if the He-Man brand is destroyed by the new Netflix She-Ra show, that's a problem.
But I don't think they'll let the characters anywhere near the Princesses of Power.
I think that's the decision. I don't think that's Noelle Stevenson's decision. I think that is DreamWorks or Mattel saying keep He-Man away from this shit show. we don't want him to,
Right.
because we know they would completely pussify He-Man. They'd turn him into a joke.
Yeah.
Just because they could, because that's the tone of this show. But yeah, I don't believe this for a minute. I think this is really what should have been done the first time around. The only reason they're doing it now is to try to salvage the audience.
I mean, it's good they're giving these people
Yeah.
a voice now, and go read the interview. It's good that they're having a chance to speak out now.
Yeah, it's always good
but
to hear
it's
this
kind
stuff,
of like, oh, we wouldn't let them talk before. We ran them through the mud. We ran the fans through the mud. We ran the original. Because how many times do we see, well, the original people who created She-Ra, they were very misogynistic and blah, blah, blah. And these are the same people we talked about in other videos, how they fought to get She-Ra so that she was the way she was. And they had to fight against, censors and all that stuff, and they still accomplished it with all that against them. And we talked about that, and that's kind of been dismissed the whole time. Oh crap, it didn't do well. Let's roll them out. And look, we hear you. It's all about the fans.
Yeah, and
it's all about the fans.
And I expect if it's not too late for there to be more fan service in Series 2 of She-Ra, if it's not already too late. I mean, they're so close together, they probably didn't even have time to,
No, they were already working on it when they did the interviews at New York City Comic Con. But so now the quotes are off the fans for this article. The quotes are off the fans.
Yeah, they didn't put the fans. They didn't put fans in quotes. In quotes like
Nobody
they
puts
did.
fans in the quotes.
Which one was it? They're all the same. I can't even freaking tell. They're all, here we go, fans from Vox. Fuck you, Vox. I'm gonna say it twice because I mean it. I really mean it. Vox is a garbage site. They need to go down like their brethren, because these sites are garbage opinion blogs being passed off as news.
Right.
And this is garbage.
I will give Syfy, at least they kept their stories mostly news based.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. So, we wrapping this up then?
We're gonna wrap this one up. There probably will be more She-Ra videos, considering that we're getting closer to season 2.
Plus, I know we have one with brushable hair.
We do have one with brushable hair. I need to get that up later today too. Geeky is going to brush some.
It's only for a couple minutes.
Classic She-Ra.
That just felt weird to keep sitting there brushing quiet.
So, please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, rants, gaming videos, art videos, and more. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.